In today's lesson, I'm going to be showing you the secret to unlocking forehand power. And we're going to focus on one thing, the coiling and uncoiling phase of the forehand. I'm going to show you a two-step system for success. And if you implement these things, you should see your forehand improve a lot in terms of power and spin. And it should give people a really tough time when they hit to your forehand if you master these principles. So the first phase is the coiling and the storing of energy. What you need to make sure that you do is that you get sideways with your hips, okay? And you can pivot on your toes, or if you're running, you can just stop, make sure your toes are pointing to the side fence. And you also need to simultaneously twist your shoulders together. A good way to do this is to keep your non-hitting hand on the throat of the racket, forcing your shoulders to turn together instead of doing what I call opening the fridge and looking for a late night snack. If we can do this, we're almost halfway there, okay? The job is almost done. Now, what we need to do is once we get sideways, in order to unlock the power, we need to get this upper part of our body more sideways than the hips. If this is a clock, okay, if this is 12, we want to turn to about 5:45 or 5:30. That's how far we want to take the racket back. But remember, we're not just taking the racket back, we're keeping the racket in line with our belly button, and we're twisting our body as a unit. Think of yourself like a pencil, okay, rotating, right, on a fine, point. Your toes are the eraser. You should be up on your toes, and I recommend pivoting, okay? This is how you can make a fast, efficient coil. Now, once you've done this, what you want to do is have your arms swing independently from the body. In order to uncoil, the racket needs to be the last part of our kinetic chain. So we're gonna feel like we sit in a chair, the racket's gonna free fall into pat the dog. We want our strings to close so we can get top spin, and we wanna keep the racket head in front of the hand. We don't wanna point the flashlight just yet so that we can get this whiplash effect. And this right here is the secret to getting lag and huge amounts of racket head speed. So from here, we're going to start the swing from the ground up. We're gonna explode with the legs, get up on our toes, right? You can pivot into the shot and stay on your toes, or you can jump. It's up to you. The same principles apply. So we twist up, we uncoil with the toes, the hips, the chest. We pull in the non-hitting arm, right, as we're twisting into it so we can stay on balance. We don't want to go like that. Think of a ballerina about to go into a spin. They pull their arms in, okay? Ignore my horrible dance moves. We twist into the shot, and then the racket is along for the ride and comes through as the last part of the kinetic chain. You should have a 3 out of 10 tension in your arm, okay? Let's stay loose from moose to goose. Let's be relaxed. Let's have some swing efficiency. So it should feel like you throw your body and your arm is just dangling, okay? Kind of like a cheese string or those things outside of car dealerships that are just flying in the wind, okay, right? Come get the sale. That's how it's got to feel on the forehand, okay? It feels a lot different than it looks. It may look like pros are swinging so fast, like they're, arming the ball, but that's really not the case. If you went up to them, you could probably take the racket out of their hand. That's how loose it is. And the arm cannot travel fast unless there's no tension in it, okay? So stop trying to muscle the ball and have some swing efficiency. In any event, thanks for tuning in, and use what you've learned to modernize your game.
Tennis Doctor is a self-help tennis book for adults. If your swing is f***ed up, you will never win. On the contrary, you could have slow reactions, terrible footwork, and be 40 pounds overweight, yet still produce a good shot if you can perfect your swing. By reading Tennis Doctor, you own the secret to a perfect swing, and if we have to, we'll call you an Uber to get to the ball in time. Read it now on Amazon and Audible in every country.